Hello, thanks for returning. I hope this video finds you happy and doing well. As you know by the thumbnail, this is going to be a review on the new NYX Born To Glow foundation, and here it is. So if you want to hear more about it, then just keep watching. Alright, so just to go ahead and quickly get a little housekeeping out of the way, I will have timestamps below just in case you want to skip to the demo or the final look. Also, if you're ever interested in wear test and how any type of foundation is wearing that I review on YouTube, you can definitely check me out on Instagram. Also, I do like to include a blurb about the ingredients that are in the foundations that I am reviewing. I know some people are into that and some people not so much. So with all of that being said, let me go ahead and talk about a few specs on this foundation. It comes in a little bottle like this, and the shade that I have is in Nutmeg, and it's a super affordable foundation, and I'm particularly excited about it because it's supposed to give you that naturally radiant type of look. However, it does claim to be good for oily skin as well as dry skin. It does claim to be cruelty free, and it claims to be PETA certified, which is really good. And it's supposed to even out your skin tone as well as give you a radiant look. And I think that that would be good for a lot of ladies that have mature skin like myself, and especially dry skin. And typically those type of foundations are really good for mature skin. Now I will say something that I did notice with the ingredients, and I'm always going to peep the ingredients out and just always check for egregious offenders. This one does have alcohol denate in it, so if that's something that irritates your skin, definitely you might want to lean away from this. Now, even though it isn't up on the high on the list, it's kind of down towards the middle, towards the end, which means it doesn't contain a lot of it, so that may shift your decision on whether you decide to pick this particular foundation up. And another ingredient that I saw in this foundation, which I thought was interesting, even though I think it's like the second to the last or third to the last or something like that on the list, it does contain benzoic acid. And benzoic acid is used to prevent skin infection caused by bacteria. So with that being said, I would say to really be careful about getting this foundation around your eyes or in your eyes. Not to say that you would be putting foundation in your eyes. And again, that particular ingredient is low on the list, but I just find it interesting that they would put that in there. Not that it's anything wrong with it, especially if you have problems with acne or something like that, but be careful because it could possibly cause some type of irritation, especially if you're mixing it with some type of topical medicine used for acne or something like that. So that's just to kind of be on the lookout for those of you who care. So this foundation does have a shelf life of 12 months. It expires in 12 months, and it was made in China. So with all of that being said, let me just kind of come in closer or bring this in closer so you can see it. This is the bottle, and when you first get it, it is sealed, which I really like. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off. But before I start, I will tell you I will apply one side with a brush and the other side with a sponge. I know that some people care about that. Typically when I apply my foundations, I always use a brush, and this is my favorite brush. This is a Sephora Pro brush. This is number 56, and I like this brush. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze this out. Oh, okay. I'm not going to call it thick because there definitely are some thicker foundations out there, and this looks like it might be a really good match for me. So let's just see. So I'll start with this side, and I'm just going to put my little dots on like I normally do. And as you can see, I'm still suffering from, do you see that big bump? That thing was in there in my last video, and it seems like it's getting bigger and bigger. And over time it's going to get darker, and I haven't even messed with it. I don't, if I mess with any type of breakout that I have, it will get dark, like dark like the color of my hair. So it's going to get dark anyway, but if I mess with it, it just kind of gets blacker and blacker. So no, I haven't been messing with it. Alright, so this looks to be a really good match. Tell me what you think. So this is what we're looking at so far. And I'm going to just add a little bit more over here on this just to see if I can cover it up. So I have that there. And I'm also going to do the rest of my face. All right, so here we go. I have it all applied, and it looks to be a good match. So this side, no foundation, and this side is with the brush. And as far as how it covered the acne, I think that it covered it up pretty good. Of course, you can still see the texture, the big bump sticking out, but as far as the other acne scarring, I think that it covered it up pretty good as far as I can tell. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side with a sponge. And this is it. This is the side with the sponge, and this is the side with the brush. Now I can tell you that I do feel it. It does, well, when I say that I can feel it when I touch it, it does feel a little bit tacky, so it's not drying down like a matte foundation. I do feel as though I might have to set this one, and you all know that I am not the setting type of person here lately, but I do feel as though I am going to have to set this one. So let me come in a little bit closer so you can kind of see how this is sitting on my skin, and it does look very radiant. It doesn't feel greasy. It does have jojoba oil in it, but yeah, I think it's really pretty. Now I will set it, but I'm only going to use a little bit of powder. But I can tell you that if you have dry skin, you will love this one. If you have oily skin, I would probably say to run away from this one, because I still feel the tackiness on it. And I don't think that, even on the side that I use the sponge, it still feels tacky. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish my complexion, and I'll be back. All right, so I'm back with the complexion done, and I know you're thinking, oh my God, those eyelashes. But I think that you all are used to me with these outrageous eyelashes on. But let's get into the foundation. I really did have to set it heavily, and I'm using that word had to, or have to, loosely. I set it with the Tarte Kind is the New Pretty foundation powder, and the reason that I felt the need to set it is because it really did feel tacky, and I gave it a chance to kind of dry down after I, paused the clip to do my complexion, and it still felt a little bit too tacky. So I went ahead and set it, and I actually used a lot of powder, and this is what I came up with. Now, of course, the tackiness feeling is gone, and I actually think that Nutmeg is a really good shade match for me. You can tell me what you think down in the comments. And typically, or a lot of times, you'll see me where my foundations that I use are a tad bit deeper, but I actually think that this is a good match, and it feels really it feels good on the skin. Again, I would say that this foundation is really geared for people with dry skin, dry, normal, and if you're going to be combination. And I would consider myself, I guess, normal, but a little bit combination, because after about 4 or 5 hours I do tend to get a little oily here and right here, and that's it. Everywhere else it will stay consistent. So would I recommend this foundation? I definitely would, aside from those 2 ingredients that I spoke about in the beginning of the video, you know, and I encourage everybody just to take a look to see what you're actually putting on your face, especially if you are a person that's going to wear their foundation every day, because I know some people do. They wear a foundation every day to work, so it would be kind of a good I think that it would be a good practice to just kind of check and see. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions for me regarding this foundation, leave it down in the comments. Have you tried it? Do you plan on trying it? Let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until my next video, smooches.